Recently I got this comment asking me to compare the Helios 442 to my VAZEN 1.8x anamorphic lens. Now, you may ask yourself, why would someone even compare a $60 lens to one that costs over $3,000? And how does a shootout between an anamorphic lens and a spherical lens even make any sense in the first place? Well, in that video I talked about how they used the Helios on the new Batman movie. And in that movie they did mix it with anamorphics to have a cheap compact lens that they can mount to the Batmobile. For us, that means that if the Helios with all its swirly and stretched bokeh produced an image that matches the oval anamorphic bokeh, we would essentially have a small lightweight alternative for stunts or gimbal work as well as other creative shots. Not to mention that it would add a whole nother focal length to your kit without the need of renting out or buying another expensive cinema lens. So with that in mind I was curious and did a quick shootout between the VAZEN and the Helios on my red Komodo. The first thing I noticed was how different the contrast and colors are rendered by the two lenses. The Helios is lacking quite some contrast and is leaning heavily towards the cooler colors, while the VAZEN is much warmer. I tried to somewhat match the colors in post, which turned out to be quite tricky. After matching contrast colors and putting on some letterboxes, I'm quite surprised how close the spherical bokeh comes to the oval-shaped anamorphic bokeh. The way it is stretched on the sides combined with the fall-off of sharpness towards the edges does feel familiar and kinda mimics the anamorphic look. And this look even gets enhanced using a speed booster. However, the more you compress the background, the more you can see the difference. The one dead giveaway that tells you you're not looking at an anamorphic image is when you shine a light directly at the camera and the lens flares, as these are obviously not streaks. So either you prevent it from happening in the first place, or you can get the Helios modded as an anamorphic with a fishing wire and an oval shaped drop-in to help with the flares as well as the bokeh. Before we head to the conclusion, big thanks to you. We hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of this year. This is just the beginning though. What's next? 10,000 subscribers before the end of next year. So if you haven't already, here's 10 seconds to subscribe to this channel. Well, alright, it's conclusion time. All in all, it's hard to say whether the Helios does really mix well with anamorphics like the VAZENs. I was definitely surprised about how well the bokeh matched, but that was pretty much the only thing that did, and it also depends how you frame your subject. It took very long to try to match the colors of these two lenses, and especially now that true anamorphics get cheaper and smaller, it's hard to justify this effort. That being said, if you're in a pinch and maybe even have a Helios lying around, it does work for some shots here and there within an anamorphic sequence, and your audience will probably not even notice it. But keep in mind that you will have to sacrifice quite some time and effort. If you want to know more about the VAZEN 40mm anamorphic or the Helios 442, you can click on either of the videos on the screen right now, and I'll see you over there. Bye.